Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of great millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Aki Awasap, and today's lesson is entitled, If Any Brother Have a Wife That Believeth Not. And Lord willing, you be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the true names of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. And as always, the sit downs, the lessons, the street speaking is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel of the Most High, to use the gospel preach. So we'll be going into a lesson, going into if a brother has a wife that don't believe. So we'll be reading part of First Corinthians, the 7th chapter. And once again, Lord willing, it be edifying. And I want to set the stage through the spirit that the Lord is calling the men, first and foremost. Now, a part of the elect, you do have women and children, all right? But the men is who the Lord is dealing with. Now, you do have women that are have repented, and converted and worship the true power. You will have those women. The scriptures speak about the elect lady, and even in the scripts, you have women like Esther, Judith, Susanna, or you had Dorcas, and there was many women that followed the Lord Yahushua. But at the end of the day, in this system that exalts femininity and women having liberty, 9 times out of 10, she's not going to conform. Your wife isn't going to, conform to what you believe in. You understand? But if she's, pleased to dwell with you, then you're not to put her away. And, we'll be going into that. So let's go ahead and set the stage here with Proverbs 8. Proverbs was written by King Solomon, all right, which he was the son of David. So here in the 4th verse, it says this: Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. So the Lord, he's calling the men in the faith. All right, let's go to Ezekiel 34. We're gonna Ezekiel, all right, he was a prophet during the Babylonian captivity. This is Ezekiel 34, verse 30. Thus shall ye know that I, Yahweh, their power, and with them, and that they, even the house of Israel, are my people, saith Yahweh. And ye, my flock, the flock of my pastor, or are men, and I am your power, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. The Lord is dealing with the men. In fact, when you go to the commandments, let's see if we can law, the statutes, and commandments, it was given to the children of Israel. And when you go into the word children, it's sons. Let me see if I can find it. Children of Israel. Let me just find some commandments. Let's go here. Let me go. Bear with me. Let me just find this precept. And these lessons are done through the Spirit, all right? So the commandments come in about the 20th chapter. All right. All right. So in Exodus 20, it goes into the commandments, right? Now, when you go to the 22nd verse, it says, And Yahweh said unto Moses, or Mashah in the Hebrew, Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. All right. The Lord was speaking out of the chariots, so-called UFOs. And when you go to children here, it's bun, which is son. It says son, grandson, children, member of a group, son, male child, grandson, so on and so forth, right? So the commandments were given to the men, and the men got their houses in order. All right. So I just want to, bring that out through the spirit. So let's go ahead and go into First Corinthians 7. The point is further down, but I'm going to read into it now. I will give this disclaimer. We're not marriage counselors. We're not sit to, you know, um, speak about how you rule your house and how you deal with your woman. However, you do have these different topics and subjects that come about that we have to bring the edification on. All right. So here, the book of Corinthians, which Corinthians uh, was in Asia Minor. I'm sorry, in Greece. And the church of Corinthians, Paul had a lot of problems as far as getting them in order. That's why these books, the book of Corinthians is the longest epistle that apostle wrote. So in this chapter, he's setting the order as far as dealing with marriage. It says, now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. So this is advice as far as a man putting his effort into the ministry. If you can, you don't even want to deal with women. That way you could just put all your energy and strength into, the ministry. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, fornication is adultery. Let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Because when you read in the previous chapters, there was adultery going on amongst the church of Corinthians. So what Paul was saying was, let every man have his own wife and let every woman have her own husband, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're passing around women and committing adultery. This is 1 Corinthians 5:1, and it's entitled Immortality Rebuked or Corrected. It says, it is reported commonly that there is fornication among you. Once again, fornication is adultery. All right. When you go to fornication, the Greek word there is porneia. That's where you get porn from. It says illicit sexual intercourse, and you see the word adultery there. You have homosexuality, lesbianism. All right, and I'm speaking in code, of course. So there was adultery happening amongst the church of Corinthians. Adultery was reported commonly. So it was often going on amongst the church in Corinthians. It says it is reported commonly that there's fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as name among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife. So, it was women being passed around and adultery happening. All right. So when we go to First Corinthians, the 7th chapter, Paul, he gives the advice on saying, look, let every man have his own wife, because you don't want to be passing around women. That's worthy of judgment, because that's adultery. So continuing on in 1 Corinthians 7:2, it says, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto his wife due benevolence. Make sure you're having sex with your woman. And likewise, also the wife unto the husband. The wife have not power of her own body, but the husband. So if the husband, he want to have sex, the wife cannot deny the husband of sex. All right. The wife have not power of her own body. So if you want to, deal with your woman, she's supposed to give it up. And likewise, also the husband have not power of his own body, but the wife. And for the men, if your woman, she's burning, you don't want to have sex, you can't be in that vibration of, oh, I've been working all day, I'm just tired, I really don't feel like it, yada yada yada. You want to, give your wife what she's asking sexually. It says, defraud ye not one another, meaning, don't deny each other sexual pleasures, except it be with consent for a time, unless y'all agree. Y'all both consent and y'all agree that ye may give yourselves to fasting and to prayer. So you may spiritually withdraw yourselves sexually from each other just to give yourself a fasting and for prayer. It says, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not in your incontinency. So, you want to make sure you come back, together, and basically get the sex back cracking. At least Satan tempts you, and Satan will tempt you by putting thoughts of adultery. You want to sleep with somebody else. It says, but I speak this by permission and not of commandment. So Apostle Paul is going to give some spiritual advice. For I would that all men were even as I myself. And as I was mentioning earlier, Paul, he didn't deal with women. So, the advice that he was giving the men is, look, if you could, don't deal with women. That way you could put your honest, effort and strength into pushing this ministry and pushing this truth. But every man have his proper gift for the Most High. So every man has his lot. Some men are able to deal with women. Some men may be able to deal with one woman. Some men may be able to deal with multiple women. And some men may be able to resist women. So every man has his proper gift. One after this manner and another after that. So every brother got his different lot. I say, therefore, to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. So Apostle Paul, he gave that same spiritual advice to women. But if they cannot contain, if they can't, not deal with a partner, let them marry, let them come together, let them have sex. For it is better to marry than to burn. So if you burning with lust and you got that itch and you need, you desire for somebody to scratch it and you really want to, be sexual with somebody, it's better to marry than to sit up, just burning in your lust. And unto the married, I command, yet not I, but the Lord. So this is advice from the Lord, which the Lord Yahushua, he was dealing with Apostle Paul exclusively. So even if Apostle Paul is giving spiritual advice, it's still coming from the spirit of the Lord Yahushua. It says, let not the wife depart from her husband. All right, because you don't want, that vibration amongst the church of wives just departing from their husband, for no apparent reason. But if she depart, if she do get up out of there, let her remain unmarried. Let her not deal with somebody else. Or be reconciled to her husband. Because sometimes you experience that in a relationship, it may be rocky, things may be a little shaky between the two of y'all. Y'all part your ways. She may leave and go stay at her mom's. She may go be with her grandma. She might even go out and get another spot. But then, after times pass, y'all start missing each other. Y'all start thinking about old times. Y'all start dating, and then y'all come back together again. That happens. It says, let not the husband put away his wife. All right. You don't just kick your wife to the curb, unless it's for fornication, if she commit adultery. It says, but the rest speak I not of the Lord, going into the spiritual advice. If any brother have a wife, here's the point, that believe not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So you may have a woman, you didn't came in the truth, you beginning the process of converting, you keeping the law, the statutes and commandments, you beginning to keep the high holy days, you doing away with these worldly holidays, you putting shrimp, crab, lobster, pork away, you honoring the Sabbath, so on and so forth. And then your wife, if she's not down with it, she may still be going to the church. She may still be, on her successful, strong, black woman and trying to be an entrepreneur. And she's just focused on her career. She's not even, spiritual, So, if you in a situation like that, you have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with you. She see you, have a spiritual awakening. You're following after something. She's seeing change in you, but she's still pleased to dwell with you. She still want to, have a relationship with you. It says, let him not put her away. So just because you in the truth and your wife, she's an unbeliever, don't put her away, because she may come in later on. And in fact, when all hell break loose and all these liberties and goodies is taken away from these women, and they see that the Lord is dealing with you, they see the Lord is making sure you got food and water and all that, they're going to become believers overnight, and it actually says it's in Psalm, I think it's 110. Let's see real quick. 110:3, it says, Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. So willing to do what? Willing to believe. Oh, what is that name that you call on? What is this? What is this all about? Once power is being shown, whether it's spiritual power or the Lord feeding you in the days of famine. It says, in the beautiness of the hope of holiness from the womb of the morning, thou hast thy due. It's like, let me read it from the top. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. In the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning, thou hast the dew of thy youth. So we're getting our power back. All right, these people is going to be willing to believe in that day. So she may be an unbeliever now, but watch when all hell break loose and the spirit of the Lord is come upon you heavy, and you're able to do things and make things happen. It says, in the woman which hath a husband that believeth not. So the roles is reversed. You may be a woman, you hearing the truth, you following after the teachings, you starting to, you know, um, dress more moderate. You're not living that city girl lifestyle. You're not all out there. You trying to, be more at the house and be more submissive and humble, and be in order, to your husband. But meanwhile, you may have a nigga that's in the world, he's still doing this, he's still doing that. He worshiping 4th of July, his birthday and all that, right? That's a husband that believeth not. He might even say, hey, man, I'm not even into that. I'm a Muslim, right? And if the woman, it says, in the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, if he be pleased to dwell with her, yeah, if he's still, on that vibration of, what, you my woman, we've been together, whatever you do or whatever you believe in, that's on you. But as for me, I'm doing my own thing. Let her not leave him. So you can't just up and leave your man because you in the truth and he's not, because a thought may come into your mind, and I'm speaking to the women, that you may want to deal with a man that's in the truth. You may deal with a man that's a teacher. But if you dealing with a man and he believe it not and he still want to be with you, you gotta still be with him. And there's teachings amongst IUIC that if you're a man in the truth and you have a woman that's an unbeliever, if you can't get her to convert to the truth, you got to put her away. But that's contrary to the teachings of Paul, right? And same with the woman. If you're a woman in the faith and you got a man that's an unbeliever, if he doesn't convert to the truth, then she's supposed to leave him and then go find some guy in the faith. So, that's adultery and that's confusion. And that's breaking up homes, because, these cases that you have here, there's children that could possibly be involved, and now you're breaking up houses. It says, for the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they're holy. Meaning, if an unbelieving husband is dealing with a wife that believes, through her works and her changing and her conforming to that righteous woman, that husband, could see that and eventually be drawn into the faith. He may be interested in seeing what's going on, and he get to changing his ways. He get to putting down cigarettes, stop smoking, being a drunkard. The wife, like I said, the wife, she done came in the truth. She now giving him herbs. She cooking clean now. He losing weight. He getting more stamina, more energy. And now he wants to, get involved. And vice versa with the wife that unbelieves. The husband, he may change. He may, she may notice that he's now getting the house in order and he's not this wild individual that he used to be. And she may be curious to, start following after what you got going on. She may put away eating pork. She may slowly stop, dealing with these holidays and so on and so forth, right? Uh, It says in the 15th verse, but if the unbelieving depart, whether man or woman, let them depart, because you don't want to be in a relationship and your partner feels like they're trapped, because it's not no cult. You understand? You see a lot of these videos of people coming out on YouTube saying, "Oh, I was in an Israelite cult. I felt like I couldn't do nothing, and I was just held down against my will." Look, if you're dealing with a woman and you've turned and you repenting and you converting to true power and you following after the way of righteousness, you out there teaching, so on and so forth, and she see that you changed and she don't like this new individual. She like the old you. She like the old man, that was in the streets and, all this wild, crazy shit. Go ahead and let her go. Hey, look, baby, go ahead and go on your way. You know what I mean? It's all good. You get over the heartbreak or whatever, and the Lord will give you another woman. It says a brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but the Most High have called us to peace, because you don't want that contention in your house. Here it is, she want to up and leave, but you forcing her to stay, and by her not being, you know, mentally and emotionally available for you in this relationship due to you changing, she'd be out here dealing with this guy and that guy, and that causes, discomfort in the house. It says, "For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O husband, whether thou shalt save thy wife?" It says, "But as the Most High had distributed to every man, as the Lord have called every one, so let him walk. So and so ordain I in the churches." My laptop's finna die. All right. So, it's just a brief lesson on how to, deal with, the whole um marriage thing in the house. If you come in the truth and you got a woman that unbelieves or vice versa, what you don't want to do is be a lion in your house. You don't want to try to be forcefully converting everybody in your house to the truth. Yeah, you may break bread with them, you may tell them certain things here and there, but at the end of the day, if this ain't for them, they ain't gonna get it. And we've been instructed to not be a lion in the house. And I'm gonna get that and end off there. And this is from experience. Even me coming in the truth. I started out a particular way, but as you grow in the faith and you grow in understanding, you see, how to navigate in this world while being in the truth. How to navigate your marriage while being in the truth. You understand? This is Ecclesiastes 4, verse 30. And it says, "Be not as a lion in thy house." And a lion is, ready to pounce. He roaring. He ready to tear shit up. You don't want to be like that in the house. You want to be dealing with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You want to be slow to wrath. You want to be applying mercy. And you want to deal with your wife according to knowledge. It says, "in frantic amongst thy servants." Frantic just basically meaning wild and agitated. You know, you got to find that balance between you being in the truth and you, being a man, a husband, so on and so forth. All right. So, Lord willing, this was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. And double honors to our elders and apostles, great millstone and tell us the truth. And Shalom Akim. Stay strong.